This isn't just another podcast. It's a movement, a global wave of women from Nairobi to Nashville, Seoul to Sao Paulo, stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Women who are ready to be seen, to be heard, to be unmuted. I'm Anjali Marshall, an award-winning ABC and NBC journalist and speaker, turned business strategist, coach, and mom. My mission? To amplify the voices of women who were never meant to stay silent. One woman, one voice, one story at a time. So go ahead, put on your comfy pants, grab a coffee, and maybe the remote. Are you ready to press the button? Unmuted starts right now.
Hello, and welcome to the Unmuted podcast. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and I'm so incredibly excited to be with you today. I'm also really excited because we have a very, very powerful guest with us today. This podcast is where amazing women stop shrinking and they start sharing their stories that have been tucked away for just way too long. And so welcome to the podcast. Today, we are joined by somebody who is brilliantly rebellious in all the right ways. Her name is Ruth Faulkner. She's the founder of Toucan Content, a purpose-driven communications studio working with women-led and values-led brands across the UK, Australia, and in the US. But Ruth's story is not just about business. It's about reclaiming her feminine voice after years of feeling like she had to lead with armor. From high-level agency boardrooms to living a digital nomad lifestyle, Ruth is rewriting the script on what leadership looks and feels like. And she does it with vulnerability, values, and a whole lot of guts. So I'm so excited to welcome you here, Ruth. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good. What an introduction. You got me all tearful, actually. That was lovely.
Oh, tell me why. Why did that make you tearful? That's so true, though. This is you.
Yeah.
You.
You know what? Rebellious. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I like that. And like you say, the journey is interesting, and it's one that when you're in it, you're just doing day in, day out, and you have to wait for someone to kind of sum it up like you did there sometimes for it to sink in. So I appreciated that.
You know, you've heard the saying, give a person their flowers before they're gone, right? Like we have to give each other our flowers. These are your flowers. You deserve that. You are a force to be reckoned with. And I want everyone who's watching to just start to hear a little bit about who you are. So can you tell us just the gist of who you are? Tell us about how you started. And I want to hear about this rebelliousness that you own.
Sure. So I've had an interesting journey, honestly. My career started as a sports journalist. I studied journalism at university, was lucky to be doing that in London just as the London Olympics came to town. And that kind of, jump-started my career. I'm the weirdest was the weirdest sport journalist ever because I wasn't really into sports. I'm just into people stories. So while everyone else was getting like star eyes, I was actually just enjoying hearing people's stories. And then I kind of moved between a few different things. There was more sports journalism. I moved out to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil and worked at the games out there. But I've also then moved into advertising agencies, kind of corporate comms, was in-house at Accenture, big professional services firm, and then kind of moved into an agency world in London. And that was the, very fast pace, working on a range of global clients, great learning experience. But actually, potentially the space where you do end up masking and kind of being more masculine in your manner in order to kind of succeed and move to the top.
Sure.
And I did that for a number of years, and I learned a lot of things, but I kept thinking like the way I would like to do it truthfully myself is different. Maybe the things that I would like to work on, the things I'd like to focus on, the clients that I'd like to help was different. And eventually at one point you just have to go, I just have to try it and believe in myself a little bit and set something up. But it was an interesting jump then. I've heard the saying, like, some of the hardest things you can do in life is start a business, move abroad, get a divorce, I decided to do all three at once. And I was like making it kind of, very challenging for myself. But I think then it was this jump into my own individuality in every single way,
Mhm.
building a business my way and doing the work that really kind of got me excited. Moving abroad and starting a digital nomad lifestyle. And then, yeah, also kind of focusing on myself as an individual woman and stepping into that kind of role. So doing everything at once, but doing it my way, which I guess is the rebellious nature.
I think that's called ripping the Band-Aid off.
Oh, yeah. And then some.
Well done, well done. Well, I have a few questions that I
Mm,
think would help to clarify some things that I had questions specifically about your corporate experience.
mhm.
Um, so you used to lead in a very corporate masculine world, which is what you had discussed. When exactly did you realize that you were muting the way that you lead and your leadership skills and style?
That's interesting. Yeah, I think there's never just a switch, is it? It's little bits over time.
Yeah,
And I had a few people comment time by time of like, you can relax a little bit more, or you could show a bit more of your personality, friends and people who knew me really well. I also was aware that it wasn't just like my style or what I was saying, it was how I was dressing, how I was showing up in the workplace. I was wearing black, gray, maybe white, kind of, the typical power suit. And
got
like
it.
you said, it was armor, and it's putting up walls between you and the people that actually you want to connect with.
Yeah,
And I think some of that comes from maybe a self-confidence thing. You think you have to try and be someone else to make it work.
sure.
And I realized over a few times that actually the other people that I respected most, or I kind of went, wow, they're really pulling me in. They were the people that were sharing their personal stories, that were
Mhm.
showing up kind of unabashedly like themselves every day. And when I saw that in other people, I went like, wow, like why am I putting up this armor? And why aren't I just trying to come to work who I am? And, you know, like you say, as a leader, then that allows other people to kind of follow that and say, actually, I can be who I am. And I'm going to be accepted for my person. So I think lots of things gradually over time.
And it does take more courage to
Mm,
tear that down, that facade, to pull it back and say, okay, this is actually who I am going to be. I'm going to be vulnerable. That takes a
yeah.
lot of courage to do that, especially in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think, there's a few times where I've done particular things in more in recent years, and I've kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, and you'd always have that moment where you're like, oh, okay, is this going to be okay? I've shared bits of my story out externally on LinkedIn that maybe aren't normally considered like business professional. I've lent into the personal because I think
Mm,
people, also need to see and hear that.
yeah.
And each time you do that, it's terrifying, like absolutely terrifying. And
Agreed.
I don't know if you've heard Brené Brown talk about like a vulnerability kind of hangover. If you do share
Mhm.
yourself, then you almost can feel kind of, tired afterwards. And it's because that's so maybe contrary to our normal day-to-day nature. We're not used to doing it, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You've built a company called
Mm,
Toucan Content.
yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, toucan, like the bird.
I'm such an American, right?
It's okay.
Toucan Content into a
Hmm.
six-figure business. So this is
Yeah.
I'm blown away by this. Um, and it spans continents, which you right now you're in France. You
Yes.
you've been all over the world, all over it just and but you I feel as if you've left your stamp, your mark everywhere you've been. And that's so cool. What has been the biggest surprise or the stretch for you in scaling something that is value led?
Mm. You know, um, it's more just been like the surprises along the way, and the fact that you speak to business leaders who go, "Oh, I've got this 5-year business plan. And it's going to go like this, and this."
Sure.
It just doesn't. It
No,
just like
no.
grows of its own. And I think I kind of started it very like open and honest, like put it out into the world, and then kind of went, "Well, we're going to see what happens," And So in seeing what happened, it scaled quicker than I thought it was going to be. And I, responded to, to my clients, to the market, to the need. And so very quickly went from being an individual, like solopreneur, to being like, actually, I need people around me. I need a team. I need people I can trust and lean on. I need to expand our services. And because that wasn't necessarily planned, because I was responding to what was out there, I had to do it very quickly. So I think that's the biggest learning is like you can't plan these things. You have to respond to what's put in front of you. And if you can do that kind of quickly and hopefully as smartly as possible, great. But we all make mistakes along the way. And again, it's like, okay, I'm going to just give myself that kind of faith. They're like, okay, made that mistake, right? Fine, move along. Let's just carry on and keep going.
Yeah, you make the mistakes quick, but you get up even quicker, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So your business, would you say that you rely a lot on like virtual assistants and people in various countries to help you build and scale?
Yeah. So I kind of describe it as like a borderless collective model. So there's a couple of core members to that collective who are with me kind of day in, day out, week in, week out. So a creative director, a project director, a junior strategist who kind of is learning under me. And, we might do stuff every day, but sometimes then that collective has to expand for completely different skill sets. And some of those are very regular and keep coming up again and again. And so that collective group, there's people in the UK, there's people in Portugal, there's people in Australia. And so that's the borderless nature of it. And I think it's just about building relationships and trust. They know that they can rely on me to have their backs, that I'm going to pay promptly, that I'm going to give them clear briefs, that they know what to expect when they work with me, and that trust is then kind of returned in the delivery of the work. Do have a virtual assistant, but she's been with me kind of over a year now, so very regular. And you just lean on people to help. Especially I think with the admin side of things, so that I can focus on leading a business and being strategic, and I'm not stuck in accounts and doing invoices and things like that.
You're in your zone of genius.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got to allow space for kind of especially I think in creative and strategic industries, you've got to allow thinking space to do that. And to do that, you need to get some of the kind of disruptions out of your head.
Absolutely. That's great. It's a great way to put that, disruptions. Because admin can be a disruption if that's not where your brain should be.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I didn't start a business to be like, oh, I want to be doing invoices and doing accountants. I started a business to be helping others and to be doing things that are interesting and impactful.
Absolutely. Ruth, when you look at your company and how you started it, because you are values led, were there ever moments when you said, were there ever moments when you looked around you and you saw all the competition, if you will, and said, maybe I should do it this way. Maybe I should lean more that way. How did you handle that if you experienced it? And what would you say to other business owners who are constantly battling that? Like, because there's a lot of other businesses around us.
Yeah. I experience that all the time, maybe every day. And I imagine every business owner does. One of the things that I've said from the start is like, I would like to do business differently. I'd like to do business with a purpose-driven, values-led focus. And frankly, sometimes that means making less money, making less profit margins, doing work that's pro bono, offering charity rates, being more agile and flexible in order to help these, let's say, like small or charity or fledgling organizations who need more support. And these are the organizations that, the big agencies of the world just aren't going to be interested in because they don't garner the same budgets. But
or the same values sometimes.
Yeah, or their values. But I think it is the values for me. It's like, actually, if I can say to myself, this project is something that I feel really passionate about, and I think it's going to have an impact, then that's a win for me.
Yeah.
And I think when you see the kind of how everyone else is doing business and the should haves or like must haves of business, you just kind of need to ignore those and focus on what it is that matters to you. Like, what's my must haves? And the creative director in my team, Heather, and I have been talking about this a lot. And we're like, okay, as long as we have joy. So what gives us joy in this work?
Love that.
And the joy can come from knowing the outcome of the work that we're doing, like the impact of the work that we're doing. The joy can come from the people that we're working with. So sometimes it's those really powerful client relationships.
Yeah.
The joy can come from working together as a team. But if I'm looking at a brief or a piece of work or something, I'm like, I don't see the joy in this. I might be able to see some pound signs, but I don't see the joy. I'd rather not do it.
That is a bold statement.
Yeah, but if I think of, what failure would look like, I'm like, okay, for some people, failure might look like, I don't know, the business not lasting more than 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. Maybe that's their line. I'm like, for me, failure would look like looking back and going, oh, well, that was really hard work and I didn't enjoy it. And I was doing stuff that I didn't want to be doing. Because frankly, if I'm going to do that, I could go work for someone else and make more money.
Absolutely.
I'm doing this on my own to do things that, bring joy, that make every day fly by. And so even the times when it is harder, and I'm not saying that running a business is easy, even the times when it's harder, there's always so many positive things to lean on because you've intentionally built your client roster, your team, the things that you're focusing on around the values that matter to you.
Yeah, that's great, Ruth. Let's talk about freedom and boundaries right now, because you talked about becoming a digital nomad and living outside of the traditional systems. What did that lifestyle teach you about freedom and boundaries?
Yeah, interesting. I think it was a big risk in that I was starting the business as I was moving to Australia at the time. A lot of my connections were UK and Europe based. And so I was like, I'm going to ask people not only to trust in me as an individual now as I step from an agency model into kind of starting off as a solopreneur before the business grew, not only to trust in me, but to trust in me without necessarily seeing me all the time.
Sure.
And it is a mindset shift, but it's one that then also, if you really kind of lean into, you'll attract the people that kind of have the same thought process as you. So now I can be talking to my clients who are perhaps in the UK and I'm like, hey, I'm in Bali. I'm doing some yoga retreats this week, but I'm working these days and I'm going to speak to you from Bali. And they're like, wow, that's cool. Really, and they know that it's not going to change the work that's delivered.
That's great.
So I think the freedom and boundaries thing is actually all comes down to trust. If you're in roles where you can do it remotely, and I work in brand content and comms, I rarely need to be in place for something. The only times that would normally happen is like a video shoot, let's say. And so many of them are done remotely like this now anyway. But so most of the work can be done remotely. The only reason it wouldn't be is a trust consideration. And so if you build your business around trust, the people that feel that way are going to work with you, and the people who are never going to feel that way are just not going to work with you anyway. So let's not worry about it.
Love that. Build your business around trust. That's so good. You have been very open about hard personal experiences. So you talked about divorce, you talked about, and you had mentioned abortion before, because I've read all about you. I love, I love so many things about you. How has sharing those really hard stories changed how you show up as a business owner and to your clients?
Good question. I think so. I speak to a lot of my clients when we are delivering kind of brand and comms projects about trying to inject the human voice as much as possible and not putting up like business boundaries in the way they talk, like corporate jargon and business speak, and where possible to include examples and people stories if it's appropriate. And so there's a big part of what I'm doing is walking the talk that I advise others to do. And it's because humans, we are storytelling people, creatures, that's how we interact, is through stories from the kind of beginning of time. And I think, the risk of business sometimes is that we step away from that and we put up kind of boundaries in the way we communicate. So yeah, there's a bit of it that's walking the talk. On the other side, I think it also helps to kind of build deeper client relationships, because people do actually genuinely know me. They genuinely know a lot about me. They know where I stand on certain issues.
Yeah.
And again, the people that agree with you are going to choose to work with you. I've been able to be kind of really honest with clients at times. I remember I was going to be presenting a kind of comm strategy to a CEO of a kind of UK-based charity. And this was maybe like the third or fourth kind of presentation that we had. So got to know them a little bit. And it was I wasn't clear on the date. I didn't expect it to land this day, but it just happened to be the day that my kind of finalized divorce landed in my inbox. Couldn't have foreseen that it was coming that day because of the process.
Sure.
And I had to kind of catch myself and go, you know what? I'm going to reach out to this person and say, I could do our meeting today, but I know I'm not in the best headspace and I would like to be able to give you all of me. And I can tell them the reason why. And, being able to be honest with them. And then they're saying, well, that's absolutely perfect. We can reschedule. There's no problem at all. Don't feel like you have to come when you're not comfortable. And, this was actually probably March of last year, and we still work together, on and off now. It builds a proper relationship when you're able to be kind of truly yourself. And I think that's where the business world maybe went wrong a little bit in the 90s, early 2000s. They kind of put on this veneer of who you were supposed to be in the workplace. And actually then, relationships are only built on a very kind of light level. You don't get to that kind of deep client relationships that are actually, like I say, based on trust, based on authenticity, and where people can truly know you.
Yeah, that's really great. I think one of the differences too is that in the business, in the job market right now, corporate America, especially, there's this language around family that I've been reading a lot about, and people are not happy about it because to call someone family suggests that you're doing what you have established in your business: sincerity, truth, and vulnerability, and all of these things without being reprimanded for being those things, right? So that's it's sort of this very strange, I think, I would imagine it's a very strange place to be in, working in corporate America, especially in these days, because the ladder is still there and people are still trying to climb, but there's this sort of facade of, but we're family. But the chops aren't there to back it up, right? So like you said, you walk the walk, you walk the talk. And I always tell my kids, it's in the fruit. It's really in the fruit of your life. So if you tell me that this is what you want, you're going to show me that this is what you want. And that's how I'm actually going to know, not by what you say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is the last question that I have for you, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to say about it, because I always ask my guests this question because it means something to everybody. What does being unmuted look like for you this year?
I think this year as well. I think I have been getting more able to kind of own my ambitions. And I think this is a genuinely common thing that happens with women, where we try not to be seen as too ambitious, and we try and be seen as humble, and we try and kind of, maybe mute ourselves or stay quiet because of that reason. So even doing something like this, even doing a podcast, you're like, oh, self-promotion, that can be a bit icky. That's a very woman thing to say, I think.
Totally.
And I think being unmuted to me right now is actually, no, like I do have big ambitions. I do have things I want to achieve. And part of, I do believe that when you speak the thing, then it's more likely to happen as well. So I'm going to, speak up and speak my aims and objectives. And you know what? Share the journey as I go along it. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. But I can be honest and open about what I'm trying to be. So right now, unmuted for me is really, owning my goals and my ambitions and putting them out to the world to see if they come back.
I love that. I'm going to put you on the spot, right? What are
Oh,
two
yeah.
goals that you have? Tell me two of the real goals you have.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, some of these I haven't told anyone. Okay.
Oh, do I get the scoop first, right?
Okay. So, one goal is I'm trying to start to mentor other women to build their businesses the way that they want, build their businesses in a values-led way, build their businesses without feeling like they have to give up any parts of themselves.
So good.
And I've only done a couple of test sessions with people and I'm feeling very excited about it. I think there's something that I can give to other women there. Another goal I would say is maybe a little bit more business specific, but I'm trying to build up my presence in Australia. I'm pretty well known now in the UK and Europe, and I'm not, I'm still kind of an outsider there. So I'm trying to be more present and make more connections there. So I'd say those are two goals that I'm telling you here.
That's amazing. Now I'm going to go one step further.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some deadlines for those goals and the things that you want to have, like a specific point, just 1 point for each.
Great. I mean, you can tell that you've done SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable.
We come with the real here. So I want to know, like, what is a deadline that we can hold you to? Accountability is important.
Okay. Well, I would like to be sharing like my mentoring business by January 2026. That's not very far away. And I have no idea what that's going to look like yet and what it's going to sound like and who knows. And I would like to be feeling confident about my business and presence in Australia by about this time next year, kind of middle of 2026. So a year out.
I love that. All right. Anybody watching? Ruth accountable.
Yeah.
And this mentorship, I'm very excited about this because this is again you leaving your mark, your stamp, and helping so many women to live the life that we were just meant to live, right?
Yeah. And it's exactly what you're doing as well. I meet so many women who go, oh, I've got this idea, but I'm not sure if it can work, or I've started building my business, but maybe I'm not doing it right. And it's most of it is less about anything that's super technical from a business perspective. Most of it's just about giving them, a little bit of support and feel like they've got someone in their corner who's listening to them, which I see that you're doing as well.
Oh, thank you, Ruth. I appreciate it. This is literally just gold. I love talking with you. Like business, all of the things, life. But we're going to have to cut this short. But before I go, I told you I had a surprise for you. Okay, time to loosen up. Let's set the vibe here. We're going to crank up a little bit of fun. This is what I'm calling hot mic. Okay. 15 rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
You ready?
Is it like one word or any amount of words answer? Doesn't matter.
See. Whatever you got.
Sure.
There's no rules except first thing that comes to mind. Okay, here we go. Number 1. What's one piece of British slang everybody should use?
Piss artist.
What does that mean?
Like just someone who's a bit of an idiot is it's very British to say taking the piss, also taking the mickey. That would be a description for that kind of person. I don't know why that came to mind. That's actually embarrassing. That's the first thing.
It makes me so happy.
Okay.
I will never forget that. Okay, best thing about being a digital nomad.
taking off on a flight, that moment where you take off into the air. I love it. Priceless.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Favorite guilty pleasure business buzzword that you secretly love?
Guilty pleasure business buzzword that I secretly love. Umbrella. I'll talk about like, oh, the umbrella for this is, and the umbrella over this is. Yeah.
I like that. All right. The song that turns you into a boss instantly.
Oh, it's a really specific one, but Sam Ryder is a British artist, and there's a song called Tiny Riot, and there's a couple of lines in it. It's like, start a tiny riot, stop being so quiet, and it just like
Ooh.
cuts through. So you should put it on after this.
I'm going to find that. I'm going to find
Yeah.
that song. Okay. A word that you use way too much in your client content.
In my client content. Maybe like joiner words like so. I have a tendency to start sentences. So, da 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 da.
Mine is and.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's fair.
And we're doing this.
Yeah.
One tool that you cannot run Toucan content without.
Miro. I love a Miro board for kind of virtual collaboration, people sharing ideas, mapping things out in a way that's not very regimented.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah.
If copywriting had a mascot, what would it be?
Copywriting had a mascot, what would it be? I mean, surely like a giant quill or something like that. I'm just imagining, like a quill with eyes.
Okay. We're getting a little peek into your brain right now.
Oh yeah, it's a weird place.
I love it. Most rebellious thing that you did at work before going solo.
It's a rebellious thing that I did before going solo. Gosh, I don't know. I used to work abroad quite a bit then. I think the example was set early. And I certainly took the opportunity in COVID when we were starting to work from home more to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to go work from France and I'll be back, call me if you need me to jump on a plane. I'll be back if I need to.
That's bold.
Yeah, and it was along the lines of, I'm gonna see if anyone stops me. And I definitely did get called and I jumped back on a plane at some point, but it was maybe a month and a bit in at that point.
What do they say? Don't ask permission. Just apologize later, right?
Yeah. But you can tell even then I believed in working from anywhere.
But I love that. That's you were coming into who you were even then. You just had to figure it out. Love that.
Exactly.
If your leadership style had a tagline, what would it be?
Find the joy.
Oh, great. That's yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
How do you take it?
Black.
Ooh.
Just
something that you are currently unlearning.
Something that I am currently unlearning. Maybe trying to do it all myself. I am trying to get much better at delegating, giving people things to own, and then just backing off and letting them get on with it.
Love it. It's hard, isn't it?
It is hard.
Yeah. A book that changed how you see business.
I'm bad at this because I think most business books are just so boring. And I don't love them. I read fiction. I read absolute fantasy. I use reading as escapism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The best oh crap moment that turned into a I am so glad moment.
Okay. I guess this was the trigger point for the scale up with the business.
Okay.
It was maybe May or June-ish last year, and I was getting lots of work coming in, which is, what you want. And I was juggling and I was trying to do as good as I could on everything. And I had a client who's also a long-term friend kind of receive something that came in from me and go, Ruth, this isn't as good as you would normally do it. What's wrong? Are you stretched? This isn't you. And it was, so blunt and so honest because of our relationship. And obviously I'm mortified, I want everything to be a really high quality, but it was like, okay, I can't do it all. I'm stretching myself too far.
Wow.
And so it led to me kind of picking up the phone and going to Heather, who's now my creative director. I think I need someone else on board here. What are you doing? Are you free? Are you interested? And that was the trigger moment of other people coming into Toucan Content and it growing.
Wow. Thank goodness. That was a friend, huh?
That was a friend. And I'll tell her after this that I mentioned her.
Tell her thank you, because she changed everything.
Exactly.
Wow,
you need people to not just not just give you compliments like, oh, this is great. You need people who tell you like, this isn't as good as you could do it. Do better. Like, I want to be held to that standard.
That's great. That's so great. Most useful compliment you've ever received?
Oh, it's a friend of mine because I talked about this on LinkedIn just the other day. A photographer friend of mine, Kathy, this was in, I want to say like early 2022. So I hadn't really conceived of Toucan Content yet at this point. And she I'd met her for the first time on this global video photo shoot. And she was like, you shouldn't be working for other people. You should be leading your own agency. What are you doing? Like, you have this in the bag. And when someone gives you like a little idea and then it sits in your head. Yeah. Someone who at that point, she didn't know me going, you should be leading your own agency. That was such a powerful compliment. And, when you say these things to other people, they might go and do something about it.
Does she know that she sort of changed the trajectory of your life?
Yeah, she does. We talked about it the other day and I was like, you called it, you saw it.
So good. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one. What's one thing that you're proud of that people don't usually see?
Don't usually see. I do drawing in my spare time to relax me.
Wow.
And I wouldn't say that I'm very good at it. But I do it very consistently and I have kind of kept going in the last few years. And I feel like I have a style that's very me. It's very colorful, and lots of kind of clashing colors. And I kind of keep that to myself. And it's my like little escapism. But yeah, I'm proud that I've kept it up as a hobby and that I have it.
Do you think that if you told people about it, that you wouldn't enjoy it as much?
No, I think that it's just not. So a few people have said like, oh, you should build this into something, like maybe you can sell some of these drawings, maybe you can monetize it. And I felt like I don't want to. It has to stay like small and mine and like
It's
just
yours.
for relaxing. Yeah. So it's less about telling people, but more about like making it into something it's not. Let's just enjoy it.
I love that. Ruth, thank you so much for letting us enjoy you. Thank you so much for bringing your full self and your brain and all the things. It makes me so happy because you are colorful. This is just who you are. And to know that this is how you run your business is encouraging. It's so encouraging. The wins, the wounds, the wisdom, your voice is a reminder that we don't need to be anybody else. Just be ourselves. And that is the best way to lead others. We just have to stop hiding, right?
100%. Yeah. And I think the more of us that talk about this, hopefully there are more other women that are going to go, you know what, I could do that.
Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the goal
here. So to everybody listening, if Ruth's story lit something up in you, lit a fire in you, share this episode, text it to a friend, post it on all the socials, and let's start making this a bigger conversation. And so, Ruth, before you go, will you tell everybody at home how they can find you, follow you, and work with you?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm most present on LinkedIn. So if you search for me on LinkedIn, Ruth Faulkner, Toucan Content, you could also just drop over to the website, toucancontent.org. And yeah, let's get in touch. I'm open to chat to anyone. Just, slide into my LinkedIn DMs and say hi.
Love that. Love that. You heard it. Slide into her DMs and say, hello, I want to work with you. Ruth, thank you again so much for being here. You are a joy. You are literally a joy. And now you are officially part of the Unmuted family. High five.
Yay, high five. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, and I've really appreciated being put on the spot with all the questions. And
Yay.
appreciate the time.
Great. You did great. Thanks again, Ruth. And we will see you again next time on the Unmuted podcast. Bye, Ruth. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
What you just heard wasn't just a story. It was a spark, a glimpse into the heart of a woman living her purpose, and a reminder that when one woman shares, another woman wakes up to what's possible. These aren't just conversations, they're catalysts. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and this is the Unmuted podcast, where voices rise, stories connect, and purpose finds its volume. Until next time, friends, stay unmuted.